Good to see you. No, I can't see you. We're in the radio studio. I can't see you today. I am here in the studio with someone I met, how many years ago, Lisa?
3 or 4?
3 or 4, maybe
I
4, at least, yeah.
At least 4.
I'm in the studio here. Well, of course, Matt Rupar is here, of course. Otherwise, we wouldn't be on the air. I'm here with Lisa Nichols of Bread and Beast Food Photography. So I just thought that this would be a very cool twist on food things. So we are not eating in the studio today.
Sadly.
Well, yeah, sadly, but that's okay. I think we can all afford, we've been eating ice cream and Mexican food because people have brought their food in. But why don't you go ahead and show people what you brought in with you? You brought your friend.
I just brought my little camera, which I have my giant heavy bag, but this is what I work with most days. And when I think if my house was on fire, this would be the first thing. I don't think I know. This would be the first thing I would grab is my camera bag and then my laptop and my cat. All 3 mean the same to me, so it would be,
You could get all those in one.
Yeah, I think I can
one
jam
fell
them all in a
swoop.
bag. Yeah.
So tell us about how you got started doing food photography and what caused you to be interested in such a thing.
Okay. It might be a long story. I'll try to be a brief.
Okay, you got to do the Reader's Digest condensed
I'll do
version.
the condensed version.
All right.
Well, I went to school for photography years ago, right out of high school.
You did?
Yeah, I never told you. Yeah, I went to Maine College of Art, it's called now, but back then it was called Portland School of Art, which is in Portland, Maine. And oddly enough, when I knew I wanted to go to school for photography. And when I got accepted and started, I didn't have a camera because my mom was a single mom and we were going to get one, but I didn't start school with a camera. So my first studio class there was ceramics. So I was making bowls and pots and stuff and taking the foundation programs and stuff. And then my sophomore year I had a camera finally. And it was a Pentax K1000, which is like a very workhorse basic camera, film back in the day.
Film.
So
does anyone out there remember film?
Yep.
Okay, I do.
Yep. Oh my God. So when I started, that's what I did. But my intention then I was always interested in street photography or documentary photography or that kind of stuff. But I went to art school, so I had that foundation program of 2D design, color theory, drawing, art history, all that kind of stuff. But I also, in my back of I've always loved cookbooks. Like, who doesn't love a cookbook?
I do. I think I love old ones because to me they read like novels.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was always really drawn to those things I think part of the connection, too, is when I was growing up, I grew up in Brookfield, Vermont, East Brookfield, Vermont, actually. And when I was a kid, my parents had a huge garden. My dad was a bit of a gentleman farmer. He was an excavator by trade, but he grew up farming because the whole area was farms and stuff. But and then my mother, who was from Middletown originally, but when they got married, moved to Vermont. She was a stay-at-home mom, and to keep herself, she had a lot of interests, and she was always very busy. She would garden, and she would can things, bake bread, make yogurt, make granola. I remember her making this amazing braided Italian bread she would make for us, and Parker House rolls, and we always had.
Oh, sounds good.
Oh yeah, we had pickles and strawberry jam. She just always was making things from our garden, and there was so I think there's that warm, comforting connection in that way, and then the visual part of food and cooking and all that just kind of has always been interesting to me, but I was always sort of on the side, and then when I got married and had kids, I was raising children, and so I had worked at a photo lab up to that point, but I really wasn't making a lot of images, so I and then when my kids were little, I worked with autistic children for 10 years. I just kind of fell into that. And so I wasn't doing any photography really, except, I was always interested, but I was just I was busy. I was doing stuff, with kids and other kids. So, but then I went through a divorce, and, I sort of just set my path back to what has always sort of been in my, heart and interest is just like, photography in general. So, but there's just something about food and chefs and, and the whole, that just really, I just dive with it, really.
I want
deeply.
people to find your images online. I want people to know where to go to find you. So, what are some of the best places where people can see your amazing work?
Well, I have my Instagram, which I don't really post on enough, I guess. But I'm at Instagram. I'm at bread_and_beast.
bread_and_beast.
Yes.
Is it photography?
Just bread and beast.
Just bread and beast.
Just bread
Okay.
and beast. But it's the word and and then I do have a website which I need to update as well. but I
All right. Well, true confessions here, and this will be the impetus to get you moving.
But I
right?
still have it. It's out there and active and stuff. So that's breadandbeastphotographer.com is my website. So, but I do a lot of work for Hearst Media, and I do some work for.
And who does Hearst own? Like, say some of the publications that they own, because I think people will probably know publications.
Yeah, Connecticut Magazine's the big one.
There you
but
go.
Then there's the New Haven Register, Middletown Press, the Journal Enquirer, like all their sort of family of that they have, and then a lot of online stuff like CT Insider will have me do stuff for them. They pop up everywhere. Because it's been a few years now, so I have quite a library of
You have a
images with
portfolio
them.
of a lot of stuff, don't you?
Yeah, and stuff with them too as well. So they use them for other things too. But they give me this week. I have an assignment to do a bunch of donut places, so I'm going to be going to donut.
Oh, can I come with you?
Absolutely, Ruth. Let's go.
That's like when I travel. I don't eat donuts when I'm at home. I mean, here in Willimantic, when I'm at home, I don't do donuts.
Is there a donut place around here?
Yeah.
We need
My short answer is going to be no, and other people out there are going to disagree with me. I think homemade donuts are great. When I travel, I am on the lookout for a good donut. So can you tell? Can you spill? Tell us where you're going, or is it top secret?
Oh, I can tell.
Okay.
So one is Neil's in Middletown.
Neil's, yep.
And I have such a bad memory. My kids pick me all the time. I have to look at my list to get the rest of them, but I know Neil's is one of them.
Okay.
But if you ever go to Portland, Maine, there's a place there called, I want to say Duck Donuts. I want to say it's called Duck Donuts. And it is fantastic. And they do, like, I think it's a sourdough donut or something, but they're if you ever get up there, they have.
All right. Well, Canberra Farms has done. I don't think they do them anymore. They did sourdough donuts. Mata's in Columbia. They do have pastries. I think they do have some kind of donuts and things like that. Of course, I'm not even going to name a chain because we all know what those are.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if I forgot anything. So people out there, there is a great cottage industry in Brooklyn called Crumb Patisserie.
I wonder if that's one of the ones I'm going to because I know Brooklyn is one of them.
Try the Brooklyn roll. The Brooklyn roll is to die for. That thing. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember that, Matt, but that was.
I think I do.
Wow.
That was. That,
I think Brooklyn was one of the ones on my list.
Oh, man. I'm going to quit my day job, which I do not have. All right. So is it for a series, for a story or something?
They do. Hearst sometimes has me do things like I did a guide to pizza, New Haven Pizza once a few years ago.
Okay.
I don't know how I did this because now I don't know if I could do it. I'm sure I could, but I went to 6 pizza places in one day, and that's
a lot.
It was a lot, and it's not like I just go in with my camera and on camera flash or something. Like I bring external lighting and I bring just a simple setup.
Equipment.
So I don't just pop in and I love what I do so much and I want it to be exceptional as much as it can be for me.
Yep.
So I try to I bring a softbox and some off camera light, nothing huge to get the look I want. So it's not like I'm just but I think when I did that one I wasn't quite as I don't think I did that setup as much, and that was probably how I could go to 6 places in one day because now I'm like 2 maybe, but a lot of it's driving.
The traveling. Yeah. How would you describe your style of photography for food? Because we all see we're visual people, and people say we eat with our eyes. If it looks like a certain way. So how would you, or how do people describe your work?
That's a good idea. That's a good question because I don't know if I've had anyone ever give me that kind of feedback.
I'll give you some feedback. I know what it looks like.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not an aficionado, but I would describe your work as bold because of the colors. They're very deep. Okay. And I think you are a master with lighting, especially with people. Because I've seen some of your chef photos. And I just look at that and I go, I could just look at this for a long time. It's just beautiful.
Wow.
And I think that the color, I don't know what you do to make the color look the way that it does, but I think those things are some of the things that are outstanding to me anyway.
Well, I can die now because that's perfect. That is like the perfect. I mean, that is kind of what you want to hear. I mean, that is sort of exactly like. There's some images I look at and I'm like, I can look at them over and over again, and then some I'm just like, swipe right or left, whatever it is. But that's the mark of a good photograph to me, is when, like, even all the people I studied in college and the people I admire now, like, if I want to go back and look at that and get lost in that that image and that world that image creates, then to me that's what it's about. I just feel like there's so many, especially with food and chefs and stuff, like, it's such a, I think, going a little off what you asked me.
Okay.
But
Take a rabbit trail. I don't mind.
But I think chefs and photographers, at least for me and the ones I know, especially with my good friend and, collaborative partner, Carlos Perez.
Carlos. I was thinking, I almost said his name, but I didn't know if it was going to be okay.
You have to. Like, we just kind of, but we have, like, he has an equal passion, I think, for what he does. I'm trying to pull up quickly this. I don't know if you saw this, but I did this pitch. Not that we're on the, we're on.
That's okay. Look, I want to see it, and then I'll describe what I'm looking at. That's all right.
I just did this photo of him. We do chef portraits every couple of months, and
every couple of months.
Well, actually, it's for a while. I can't say it's been actually. I think it's been a little bit longer than that. Well, just. Actually, it's not a couple of months. I think it's been over a year since I did my last one with him. But we like to go to places somewhere that speaks to him and what he does, and photograph him there. So that's the latest one we did, and they're using it for their Crazies promo. But we just went to a farm, and it was raining, and we walked around. I don't know if you could.
I'm going to hold up the image so you can watch YouTube and you can see the image that Lisa's showing me of the chef in all the greenery.
Yeah, that's a black walnut tree. I stuck him in there when it was misting outside, and it just looked. Look at him. He's an amazing looking person.
Chefs in the mist instead of gorillas in the mist.
It's so funny you said that because I said that to him.
You said that?
I said that to him when we were there. I said, this feels very gorillas in the mist. But
did you know that I'm on the nominating committee?
Yes, I am too this year again.
You are?
Oh, sorry. Okay, that's okay. I don't know if we're supposed to tell, but good. Awesome. I did know that.
Oh, that's right.
I saw your name in the email thing, so I did know that. But I love that what you said about because I love doing chef portraits too and people portraits. Like,
and some people, they don't like doing people, right? Because I've run across certain photographers who are like, no.
Well, it's funny because I used to be
rather do a dog or something.
Yes, I used to. Oh, dogs, Jesus, no. And sorry, and
no.
Kids, maybe. But when I was in college or when I was younger, I was very shy and much more introverted. And I used to get kind of picked on when I was in college because you knew if it was a photo of mine, it was going to be an interior, a quiet interior with no people. Because that's kind of like my junior year in college. That was like my project. It was just kind of what I did. And just somewhere along the way, though, I think I just I completely veered. I think it's from my 10 or so years of not doing anything with photography and create anything creative in my life that sort of like came out raging, Yeah,
it's got to go somewhere. I think we were created to be creative. So I want to reiterate here for people who joined us a little late. I'm here with Lisa Nichols of Bread and Beast Food Photography. So you can Google her probably, and you can probably pull up some pictures from there too. But you can also go online. You can go to her Instagram account. Do you have a Facebook page or no?
I do. It's Bread and Beast Food Photographer. My Instagram kind of connects to my Facebook too, but it's same name. Yeah.
So we first met when I had an opportunity to write an article for an online magazine. I think it's not even happening anymore, but it was called Connecticut Food and Farm, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So Lisa was assigned to me to come to my house, which is very exciting. And I did a whole big article about Armenian cooking and the culture. And I have the recipes that are accessible to regular cooks. This is not something that someone would have to, spend a whole day in the kitchen to make something. These are simple things that people could make. And Lisa took pictures, and I mean, I still use them in various places. They're gorgeous. I just look at the Armenian teacup and
very well.
the cookies and even the black and whites that you did. To me, I appreciate black and white a lot because black and white says something that I think color sometimes misses. So you did some really great black and whites. You did some great headshots of me. And I think, did we do anything else besides that? Was that the only thing?
I think that, well, first of all, you were a very good subject. You were a very easy subject to work with.
Thank you.
Your home was beautiful, and what you were cooking was beautiful. And I loved that it was in your home your home kitchen making these really meaningful recipes.
They were.
And stuff. So, but it was, I just think it was all those things that you had, all the textures and the, but what you said about black and white, I think black and white, when you make something black and white, because everything is color, but then you can just, hit a key now and it's black and white.
There's no art to it anymore.
Well, there is. You can always pump up texture and contrast and stuff like that. But black and white strips everything down to form and light, so if you take away the color, which has a lot of emotional connection in itself or meanings and stuff, you're just down to the basic forms and light, and you get that which it just focuses it right to the subject pretty much. So I think that's very strong.
Do you have a favorite kind of subject to photograph? Like when someone calls and says, Lisa, could you please come and do this? You're like, yes, get me in my car. What would it be?
Absolutely.
Anything?
It's funny because lately I've been doing a lot of farm dinners, things like that. Like I did, you know what Outstanding in the Field is? Do you know what that is?
I don't.
It's an organization that they travel all around the country, and it's like a bus. I believe. I haven't actually seen them arrive, but what I know of. And they go to these locations and set up this giant long table.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, and it's always outside, as far as I understand. And so it's just like, and then there's maybe over 100 people there or something, but everything is cooked outside, prepared outside. And I did one with Renee Tupont of Port of Call.
Yeah.
So, and
award-winning chef.
Yes, James Beard nominated. Yep. So that was like a year ago now, but it was in Stonington at Stoneacre Farm, and it was just, it's just amazing. They're cooking over a big outside fire.
I know what you mean. I worked for a while for a catering company in actually North Stonington.
Okay.
It was called A Time to Cook, THYME.
I've seen those.
And they did pop-ups. They took a empty field and transformed it into something magical. Yep. And the food that we could pump out just from a crust core and a flat table.
You were out serving on
the
field. Yeah.
It is hard work.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
to make that happen. It is hard work.
Hot and humid, and then it started to rain. And the funny thing was, they had these big long tables, and when we first got there, they had all those pop-up tents over them, and they had them sort of zip tied together, and then they didn't need them anymore. So everybody went down, and every third leg or so, they grabbed, it was like 20 people, grabbed it, and they snaked it over the tables and put it away. Then it started to rain again, a couple hours later, so they brought it back, and it was like this centipede of tables going, tents going over the table.
On that
it was really interesting. But so events like that, especially that are real rustic and outside, are really fun. But then I also like doing, so I did back in June, I think, Tavern on State, which is owned by Emily McGrone. Emily, she had a 5-year anniversary, and I know her, and I'm good friends with her, and I love her to death, and I've done work for her, and I just, she's just such an amazing person. So my gift to her at her 5-year anniversary, I'm like, I want to photograph the event for you. So it was just a small gathering of people.
That's a generous gift. For sure.
It was so fun, and it was just. And it was inside, so it was a different kind of photography, but it was, I had to use my flash, and it was just, so it was a lot of they had a drag queen pop out of a cake and stuff like that, and then it was a lot of fun. So events are fun like that too, especially when you go in the kitchen and they're like in full service, and you get them in action and stuff like that.
I should ask you then, if someone wants to employ you, how do they do that?
Well, they can definitely reach out via my Instagram or my website, which is breadbeastphotographer.com. I mean, I have a phone number and email and stuff on there too.
You should just say what it is.
Okay. My phone number is 203-804-3391. And my email is lisa@breadbeastphotographer.com. So yeah, I mean, I love to do those kinds of things. But I also love, a full day menu shoot where people come and bring you, 20, 30 dishes that we set up and
do you get to eat them all? You get to eat them all?
So when I do menu shoots with Carlos, because we'll do seasonal ones, it's like 20 dishes or something. And then usually, though, they're new dishes for the staff as well as, the menu in general. Okay. So the staff is like hovering because they want to, they're looking at everything, and they're like circling like sharks waiting to see when they're released from photography and up for grabs. So, but I always say I have first dibs. So I always grab what I want first. And I'll grab a lot of stuff. Sometimes I'll call my son or text him and say I have, some food for you, and I'll drop it off at his house or bring some home and stuff like that. So that's, I don't eat before I go for a shoot because I know there's going to be something to eat that's amazing afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, going to your house, and then I remember you had made the cookies, but what was that other dish that you made?
I made Armenian style bulgur rice. I made Armenian style lamb.
Right. Yeah.
I made a yogurt cucumber, like refreshing kind of drink. Made Armenian coffee.
I remember that. Yeah.
Did I make any kind of salad of any kind?
I'm trying to think.
I don't think I made tabbouleh or anything like. I don't think I did that. I'd have to go back. At least the issues are still online, so I can send someone the link.
See the images very clearly in my head, especially if, I remember after we drank the tea, you turn the coffee, you turn the cup over, right? And then, did you read?
I don't know how to. That would
have been so cool.
The tradition is after you drink your little espresso-sized cup of Armenian coffee, you turn it upside down because it's like silt on the bottom, and they say people read your fortune. I even when I was in Armenia, I never had anybody do that. I've never had anyone do that at all. It's an interesting thing. I guess in my family we didn't even do stuff like that. But, haven't had Armenian coffee in quite a while. I tell people that I used to have blue eyes, and then drinking Armenian coffee.
Oh, I get it. I like it.
Instead of the song "Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue," for me it's "Don't It Make My Blue Eyes Brown." Yeah, that's how it would go for me.
Well, I remember when I was 12 when my dad bought my mom a Mr. Coffee machine or maker, whatever, and my brother and I was hooked right away. My brother and I would come home from school, and toasting coffee was our snack after school.
Coffee for
toasting
kids?
Coffee. I was 12. So,
that would not be happening in my house.
Oh, my mom didn't. She didn't object. I don't know. She was like, big coffee fan.
Yeah, beautiful photos. It's interesting that you work with humans, but you also work with things that are inanimate. And I'm always amazed at photographers who, I could be in the same room with you, and you're taking a photo, and I'm seeing the very thing that you took a photo of, but your photo looks nothing like what my human eye is seeing. There's some kind of magic in the lens and the way you're doing whatever.
It's funny because like I said, I've gone to places, and for instance, last week I'm working on some assignments from there's this website called The Infatuation. Do you know what that is? It's like Eater, and so which I hate to say I wasn't familiar with until they contacted me about working together, but my boyfriend knew about it because he's in media stuff. But it's like a dining guide review site, and so they gave me an assignment to go to upstate New York to do some stuff up there. And one place I had to go, I looked at the website, and other photographers had been there, obviously, because they were they were gorgeous photos, and it was a rather well-known photography duo that had gone there. And so when I went there, I'm like, I know how they saw it, and I was wondering how I was going to see it, and it's the same thing for me as a photographer. Like I think of how other photographers see things, and just. But for me, even as I'm just going around through my day, and I think as a painter or a drawer or an artist in general, or someone who writes, you see these little vignettes and things that just go right to your head, and then you
Yeah.
want to.
Well, I mean, I see it also even like with music. People interpret things differently. There's 1,000 ways to do Jingle Bells.
And I could never. I have no idea how to do
But
that.
we're not gonna do 1,000. So don't worry. Well, this has been a wonderful opportunity to reconnect with you. Thank you for making the trip to be here.
Absolutely.
This is Lisa Nichols of Bread and Beast Food Photography. I need to give a shout out to Elm Discount Package Store because they are the new one of, at least the one I know of, sponsors of Ravings and Cravings. So thank you to them. Thank you so much for making this possible. This is Ruth Hartuni-Nallenbaugh signing off here on Good Company, WILI.